1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. If you can see and hear me, let me know in the comments. That would be awesome. It is 4 p.m. UK time. We are live on YouTube. It looks like we are a go. So, if you can let me know where you're watching from, that would be awesome. Looks like we're in and looking good. All right, sweet. Thank you for joining me today, everyone. This is our live session on ideas that buyers love. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I can see that we've got some people watching and joining, which is awesome. If you can let me know in the comments where you're watching from, that would be great. Christopher is here from Phoenix, Arizona. Awesome, awesome. And while guys are piling in, I'm just going to prep a couple of things here. And Nomadic Blue is here from India. Karen from France. Lona Princess from Italy. Wonderful. Great to have you here joining me today. Let me just see that everything is working okay on the technical side. Looking good. All right. Monica is here. Jed from France, Monica from Burbank, California, Lac Bay from the Philippines, Kurt from Philadelphia, Beautiful from Nevada, Erica from Cleveland, Jason from Malta. Sweet. All right. Great. So let me pull up my slides here and we'll get started here in a second. If you are just joining us, this is a live stream. We're going to talk about how to come up with ideas that buyers love. I'm going to walk you through some principles that you can apply in your designs that will hopefully have a great impact on your sales, because you'll be doing stuff that buyers actually like. Deepak is here from Mumbai, Beatrice from Dubai, Christopher, oh, you were here already, Ernie from El Paso, Lorraine from Cape Town. Wonderful, awesome. So let me pull up my slides here. We'll get started here in a hot minute. Let me take you through what the plan is for today. So today's plan, we're going to talk about ideas that get sales, or ideas that buyers love. After all, that is kind of the point. If you're producing your work for sale, you want to be producing stuff that's actually going to engage buyers enough to get them to hand over their credit card details or whatever it is. We actually want to make sales from our artwork. We don't just want to do it for fun. Maybe, of course, it's fun as well, but that's not all. 3 things to look for. I'm going to give you 3 things specifically to look out for when you're brainstorming, when you're coming up with ideas, when you're trying to spot ideas. I'm going to dive into those 3 things to look for today. So if you've got a notebook, if you've got something to take notes with, that would be great, because I'm going to give you a couple of tips that will be really practical. And we're going to take a look at some of my Father's Day ideas that I've been generating this week. I'm going to show you my process for that, as we've got Father's Day coming up. And then if you're interested in coming up with ideas on your own, if you're interested in coming up with original ideas and really beginning to develop this skill for yourself so that you can do it whenever you need to, for any topic, for any trend, then towards the end of the presentation, I'll share a bit more about the Ideas Workshop, which is my course, which is open right now. That teaches you all my different methods for coming up with ideas, how you can throw anything at these methods and come up with great ideas. And that the doors are closing on that this weekend. So if you are interested, hang around for that. And then we'll leave some time for Q&A as well at the end. But if you do have questions, you can drop them in the live chat. For example, G's Moz has asked, where can we buy that shirt that you're wearing? I haven't actually set up a store for this yet. This is my Peace, Love, and Happiness shirt, which I did with Printful a couple of weeks ago. I'm in the process of setting up a little brand there. We've got some stickers here as well for the Cute Cryptids collection. You can see that with the little different guys. So that's still a work in progress. This is not actually available for sale yet. But yeah, I will be sure to let you know when those are ready, Gizmos. Andreas from Germany is here as well. Welcome along. All right, so that's the plan for today. I can see we've still got people joining us, but I think we should get started because I got quite a lot to get through, and I want to make sure we leave plenty of time for questions at the end as well. If there's any technical issues, do let me know. I think we should be good. Everything's looking good from my side. But if for any reason the stream drops out, just hang on there. I'll refresh and I'll come back. Sometimes we have hiccups like that. Okay, let's go. My business. I sell on POD sites. I've been doing merch, Redbubble, etc. for. I think I sold my first Redbubble. Had my first Redbubble sale 10 years ago this year. So, been doing this for a while, selling through print-on-demand sites like Merch and Redbubble and Amazon. Um, Etsy stores have run and do run a couple of different Etsy stores, again, using the print on demand model. Shopify store as well, Instagram account, kind of pushing that and licensing my art elsewhere. So I have an art licensing partner. I license my designs also through to some brick and mortar stores like Spencer's and Hot Topic in the States, and a couple of different places in the UK as well. So this is my business, and then the basic business model works like this. Number two, turn those ideas into designs. Number three, distribute those designs to different channels, and then rinse and repeat. That's basically what I've been doing for almost 10 years. Come up with ideas, turn them into designs, get them uploaded, get them out there into the world, and then just keep going. And over years of work, you will build up a portfolio of designs, which should give you pretty steady income over month to month without huge shocks. And yeah, I feel like it's almost like a perfect business plan. And for many designers, it's kind of like, not to say that it's just one, print on demand is part of it, but just the general business of creating designs, coming up with original ideas, turning them into designs, and then distributing them and partnering with people who can sell them, whether that's Redbubble or whoever. And obviously now with print on demand partners like Printful, we can, do that ourselves as well. So yeah, that's my business. That's kind of how it works. And it's really the ideas that, as you can see, are the start of everything. Without those ideas, nothing else follows. And those distribution channels, like I've mentioned, a few of the sites that we know, Etsy and other marketplaces, whether that's Amazon or eBay or anything like that. Shopify, WooCommerce, these are places you can obviously build your own website and drive your own traffic to. There's shirt-a-day sites like T-Fury and Shirt Punch and others. There's obviously Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and advertising that you can do to drive traffic to your Shopify or your WooCommerce store. Offline licensing, like I mentioned, into brick and mortar stores like Spencer's or Hot Topic or endless amount of other physical stores that actually sell products. Digital sales is not really something I do, but of course that's another distribution channel for your artwork. Wholesale as well. We've started doing a little bit of that, taking our designs and our brands and listing them on some of these wholesale sites where store owners, actual physical brick and mortar shop owners, can buy your products in bulk to sell to their customers. So that's, of course, something that's relatively straightforward to do these days as well. So lots of different distribution channels just to kind of highlight the opportunities that exist out there. Even just one of these channels working well for you could be a full-time income, but when you stack them on top of each other, you're really looking at a pretty stable, decent business that you can build. So this is the process that I just kind of outlined. Have ideas. Usually starts with a subject like Father's Day, what we're going to talk about today. Come up with ideas, turn them into designs, distribute them, and then just repeat. And as you probably gathered, if you know me at all by now, I'd like to focus on the idea side. Of course, there's a lot more to the business than just ideas, but rather than teach you how to use Procreate or how to upload designs, I like to focus on what's, for me, been the thing that has the biggest impact, and that's ideas. That's coming up with unique ideas and then putting them out there into the world. And if you get the ideas right, I found it makes everything else that much easier. So This is just to illustrate the kind of process that we go through with ideas. An idea is that fuzzy thing in your head. It could be a quote, could be a one line that made you laugh, a tweet that you saw, or it could just be a kind of concept in your head. And obviously, the job of a designer is to take that idea and squish it and materialize it into something that can become a PNG that can be uploaded, something that you can actually do something with, that can be displayed on a website or printed on a T-shirt. And it's that process that a lot of designers uh, they struggle with this part. They're good at the design part, but what I want to help people with is getting those ideas out of their heads and really working on the best ideas and finding solid ideas that you can work on. So ideas matter because for organic sales, like through print on demand sites or marketplaces like Etsy, you need lots of designs to really make this work. You need lots of designs in order to get, reliable, consistent sales. And therefore, you do need a lot of ideas. When I started out working for myself in this space, I realized quite quickly that what I thought was a big list of ideas, which I'd never run out, which I'd never get to the end of, was actually going down pretty fast. And at the start of some weeks, I was looking at 3 or 4 ideas in my list when I needed, 20 or more to start really, really working through. So you need lots of designs, and therefore you need a lot of ideas. And that's harder than it often seems. Um, Originality is really valuable as well. So ideas matter because if you're constantly doing stuff that other people have done, you're making your life hard for yourself. You're competing in highly competitive spaces. If you're using quotes and jokes and sayings that have been done to death, it's really hard to start making progress and making sales. But the good news is that good ideas can travel fast. If you have a good idea, that can really break out. It can have take on a life of its own. Actually, yesterday I was just scrolling through YouTube and I saw one of my designs or part of one of my designs used in a YouTube thumbnail. It was a design from years ago. It had nothing to do with the video or anything. It was just kind of a random thing that someone had taken. But I just thought, wow, that's crazy that something I produced a few years ago has taken on a life of its own. It's obviously kind of hit a nerve because it was a decent concept or joke, and now it turns up in random places like YouTube thumbnails and things like that. So good ideas can travel fast. Good ideas produce outsized returns, and what I mean by that is a lot of designers will be spending more time on the design and not a lot of time or thought on the ideas, and that's why they get kind of stuck in the mud when it comes to making sales. And when it comes to ideas, I found that it does allow you to get this kind of leverage. If you've got some really good ideas, you can really impact your sales in a way that constantly improving your designs doesn't really do. Like you can get better at illustrating, you can get better at colors and fonts, but it doesn't make that much of an impact on the actual bottom line. Whereas if your ideas improve, if your ideas are catchier, if your ideas are more effective, if they're more engaging, if buyers are responding to them because of that, then that can really, boost the output. So smaller effort input, big boost on the output because of the ideas that you're working on. So better ideas leads to better results. And in order to get those better ideas, you need more ideas. You need a lot of ideas going in the first place. So ideas are also future proof. That we're seeing right now AI image generation, which is quickly replacing designers. I don't say that lightly, but I do think, as someone who's tracked it for a while, I didn't think AI image generation would be able to do some of the stuff it's now doing. And I think we are perhaps mere months away from AI that can produce quality designs from a couple of lines of text. And what that means is that anyone with any idea of what they want could describe it and then a design would be produced. Whereas previously they would maybe have to go through a designer or hire a designer, or a designer would have to be in the mix in order to create that artwork. That's becoming less of a barrier to things being produced. And what that means is that the people with the ideas are the ones with the leverage. The people with the ideas are the ones who are going to win when design becomes, a negligible cost barrier to entry. Um, manufacturers, retailers, brands, they want the best ideas. They want original ideas. We've seen this recently with changes with Redbubble and TeePublic, Society 6 as well, I think. They're all but explicitly saying we want to work with designers who are producing original work, quality work. We don't want to be a host for 1,000 scale designs of one concept done to death. We don't want to be full of auto-generated stuff. We want to work with on trend original stuff done right. So if you are that, if you have original ideas that are not the 65th version of the same phrase that's been done 1,000 times, then you are again at an advantage when it comes to working with not just print on demand sites. That's just a kind of example of where we're seeing this in practice, but with manufacturers, retailers, licensors. That's the kind of stuff they're looking for. So better ideas lead you to better opportunities. That is the way that you're going to get those stronger opportunities if you've got those strong ideas in the first place. And just to give you an illustration of this, this is Stephen Rhodes. You may have seen his artwork around. This is a guy who's started, like a lot of us, on Society 6, I think, and producing ideas and then uploading them to these sites. And over the years, he kind of honed his brand into this particular thing. And this is really just an example of how one solid idea replicated and reproduced for different use cases has built a massive brand. I think Stephen Rhodes is I think he's not just a full-time artist anymore. I think he's a full-time brand and probably multi-million dollars in sales every year. And not just t-shirts, of course, but he's got book deals, he's got all kinds of other products as well, all because he's managed to crack a really great idea, a really good concept that works really well. Not just Stephen as well, like Dino Mike is another artist I really like, good illustrator. And again, this is just someone who's making a living from funny ideas done right, well executed. These are all taken from interviews that I've done with these artists. You can check them out on my blog. Vincent Trinidad as well, another good example of, these are not even text-based designs. These are visual gags and stuff. This is a good example of how a really good idea, a funny concept, a funny visual concept can go and have a life of its own. And again, if you want to check out any of these interviews, they're on my website, michaelessek.com, with these designers who are making a living from great ideas, well executed and done right. So will good ideas solve all of your problems? No, of course, there's much more to it than that. These guys are good designers and illustrators as well. There's more to it than just an idea, but there are a lot of people who are good at everything else except the idea side. So there's designers who are very good illustrators, who are top quality designers. They're good at marketing. They understand their audiences. They're lining everything up, but they're struggling on the idea side. And what that means is that they're having to work on concepts which have been done to death, that they know are not original, or they're working on stuff that just isn't clicking with people. It's just not that funny. It's not that engaging. And so their ideas is what's dragging them down. And if they could improve that, then, like I said earlier, that leverage effect would have a big boost on their results. So, like I said earlier, I started, 10 years ago, and then I quit my job to kind of pursue this once things really started to get rolling. And when I quit my job, I wanted to make sure that I never had to go back to a 9-to-5 job. I didn't ever want to work for someone else again. And so I set myself targets for, how many designs I wanted to create every day. And so I set a target of like 5 unique designs every day. And that means that, of course, I needed to have some ideas going into every day in order to turn up those designs. And I quickly learned that, like I said, those ideas, they run out pretty fast. And so I had to actually start generating ideas. I had to find ways to come up with ideas on demand, because I didn't have a pool of ideas just waiting for me, and I wanted to work on original ones that would really engage people and would build my brand. So because of that, I figured out over time these methods that would work and methods that I could apply to any subject and any topic and would come out the other side with lots of great ideas. So that I could take a topic like Father's Day and I could work through some of these steps and would always come out the other side with some original ideas that I could work on that would really click with people. And once you know those methods, once you know the types and the patterns that show up in certain ideas, then applying them does become second nature. In fact, some of the stuff I'll share here is almost second nature to a lot of us. We don't notice it when we see it, and you have to kind of be. It kind of has to be pointed out to you before you notice that. Oh yeah, of course that's a principle that works in a lot of winning designs. So these are the type of designs that I would come up with, that I would generate. These are not my designs, but these are just to kind of illustrate some of the types of ideas, because there are different idea types. Just like there's different recipes for different types of food. There are different recipes for coming up with different types of ideas, like funny phrases or parodies, rhyming jokes, puns. There's different methods for coming up with each of these. And there's lots of idea types, like I said, different idea type requires a different method in order to come up with it. So if it's funny phrases, there's a specific way to come up with different types of those. If it's a rhyming phrase, there's a way to come up with those. There's a way to generate parodies, to generate visual gags, to generate double meaning puns, which are really popular with t-shirts, replacement puns, internal puns, various types of wordplay. And this is not an exhaustive list. This is just to give you an illustration of when we talk about ideas, we're not talking about one static thing. We're talking about a great big pile of possible types of ideas that we can generate. So what I wanted to share with you today is something called the JAR framework. And this is, again, if you're taking notes or something, this would be a good thing to just internalize and for you to think about when you're generating ideas or when you're out and about noticing ideas, to try and internalize these principles to help you come up with original ideas whenever you need them. So JAR, this stands for 3 different words, and I'm going to walk you through each one. We're actually going to start with the A, and the reason for that will become clear shortly. And the A stands for alliteration. So alliteration just means 2 words that sound alike or similar sounding words. They start with the same sound. So things like girl gang, we've got the g and the g. Okay, girl gang, simple phrase. The cactus club, k. So again, alliteration, cactus club. What a time to be alive and anxious. Really simple. But these all use alliteration. Lurk, laugh, loathe. Obviously, that's a play on live, laugh, love. But just another good example of the l producing a good idea. Donuts and death metal. I mean, that couldn't be much more simple, but we got the d and the d. So alliteration. This is a principle that you'll see in many t-shirt designs and concepts and other products as well, of course. And it's so simple that you almost have to be kind of nudged to notice it. But when you can take just 2 words and put them together and create something like girl gang or feminist family or cactus club or cactus clan or whatever it might be, that can be the basis of a design. That's really all you need. And this is a way to, I don't want to. There are complicated methods of coming up with ideas, but there's simple methods as well. And one of the simplest is simply to take a word related to your topic, find another word that clicks nicely with it. This is especially good if you're doing, if you can think of words that mean like club or gang, that match with your sound. So like cactus club, cactus clan, whatever it might be. If you can find a word that clicks there, that's a design concept, and then all you have to do is pull together the graphics to make that look nice. And you don't have to overcomplicate this. If someone's into cactuses, if someone's into feminism or girl gangs or whatever it might be, then this is a really nice principle to use. And it works because we like alliteration. It sounds good to our ears. It's memorable. That's why you'll see it in headlines, in advertising, book titles, in brand names, whatever it might be. Lurk, laugh, loathe sounds better than hide, chortle, and dislike. It rolls off the tongue better. And so, whenever you can use that, whenever you can spot that, it's a great tool to use in your arsenal. So, what's the sound of the words? If you've got a word related to your topic, what's another word that starts with that same sound? And what similar sounding words can you match with that word? So, if you're doing a Father's Day design, dad something, what's a word that starts with a D that means gang or club or something like that? You can try to start brainstorming around that subject. So that's alliteration. That's the A in JAR, alliteration. Let's do R, which stands for rhyme. So similar to alliteration, of course, but rhyme is a way that it goes a little bit further and it can be used in a bit more complicated ways. So here's a simple one with Slimer, slime time. Again, just two words put together. That's the basis of a design. Match it with an illustration, you've got a decent design concept. Too cool for school. Cool and school obviously rhyme. Obviously, this is a well-known phrase or saying, but that principle of rhyming two words together is what makes this a phrase that people recognize and understand. Um, Fries before guys. Again, fries rhymes with guys. A little connecting word there to put it together into a sentence, and you've got the basis of a design that, again, you just need to match with a custom illustration. You can do obviously the illustration in your style, in whatever kind of vibe you want to go with, but that's an example of such a concept. Ghouls just want to have fun. This is an example where a rhyme ghouls doesn't rhyme with anything else in the phrase, but ghouls rhymes with girls. It's a replacement pun where they've replaced that. And that rhyming principle is still what makes that concept good. And again, you could say ghouls just want to have fun, illustrate it in whatever way you like, but that's the core concept that makes that design work. So that's rhyme. What rhymes with these words? So again, if you've got dad or something like that, starting with some words around Father's Day, what rhymes with that word? How can you put that together with other words to make a sentence that makes sense? Is there something you can do with dad rhymes with bad, or dad rhymes with rad, or something like that? Rad dad, bad dad, sad dad. How could you put those words together and build a sentence that would actually, work for a concept? So that's rhyme. And then our final letter here, the letter J, stands for a big word, juxtaposition. Now, juxtaposition, big word, but isn't that complicated? Juxtaposition is basically two things rubbing up against one another. And usually it's like something that contrasts or conflicts with something. And so when you look at them together, it produces uh, a funny response or a humorous reaction to it. So if you can find your topic and then you can put it against a contrasting thing to create some kind of joke, this is really the underlying principle of all humor, of all jokes, of anything you find funny. If you dig into it for long enough, you'll see that there's some conflict there that's actually generating the humor in the first place. And these are some examples of juxtaposition visually in action around t-shirt design. So, here's death metal, but in a cute rainbow clouds. It doesn't look like you expect that word to look. So it's creating this jarring effect, which is funny. Merry Christmas in a kind of metal style, or the opposite. Instead of death metal in a rainbow style, we've got something that's not very death metal-y, Celine Dion, but illustrated in a death metal-y style. Or Mozart here, again in a kind of band rock band t-shirt type of vibe is quite funny. So these kind of examples are just to get you thinking in that direction of juxtaposition. If there's a subject or a topic that you're creating around, if there's a phrase or a saying, how can you flip it and present it in a way that's going to maximize the humor, that's going to create a juxtaposition? So what conflicts or contrasts with my subject, with my topic or subject? Where can you place it? Where can you put it that you wouldn't expect to find it? Where can you place it for maximum contrast? That's juxtaposition. And the way I like to think about juxtaposition, it's a bit like Gimli and Legolas in Lord of the Rings. They are not mortal enemies, but dwarves and elves don't get on. They rub up against one another, but then they have something they connect on. They are different in many different ways, but they have one thing that they're aligned on, whether that's protecting the hobbits or saving Middle Earth, whatever you want to say it. They stand side by side together, even though they are far apart on a lot of other things. So that's the way I think about juxtaposition. Um, and just to reiterate those principles for you: juxtaposition, alliteration, and rhyme. That's the JAR framework, JAR. And if you can put those things together, if you can actually work them in side by side, then that's when things really start to click. So I just got this as an example, but juxtaposition is about humor, and then alliteration and rhyme are ways that you can kind of emphasize that or give yourself a boost on that. And so what I'd like to do is just show you some examples of this in practice in the real world, uh, taking the topic of Father's Day. So I've got my iPad here. I've done some sketches based on some ideas, and I just want to show you the process I use to come up with these ideas. So what I did was I talked about those methods uh, that I've put together and taught, and that I've used to help me come up with ideas again and again for whatever the topic. Now I've also put those methods into some software so that I can come up with ideas really quickly, and that's called Ideally. And what this allows me to do is to put in some words like we could do dad, or let's do like lawn, because dad's like mowing the lawn, or mower, things like that. And then I can hit go, and it's going to go and do a search based on loads of idioms and phrases. It's going to find rhyming words. It's basically going to do a lot of the stuff that we just talked about. It's going to go and look for alliteration. It's going to go and look for rhymes, and it's going to come back with phrases and possible matches for those that would work for good ideas, for concepts. So most of those are going to be funny phrases or something like that that would really click with our topic. So while that's just loading, because it's searching through a load of thousands of different quotes and stuff, what I'm actually going to do is show you some of the ideas that I came up with using this principle, and that really clicked with me. So one of these that I came up with, or one of the principles, we talk about that principle of rhyme, is to find rhymes that actually is to find words that rhyme with your word, and then to try and do that replacement trick. So that works really well for t-shirt designs. That's funny. That's something that people recognize. And I'll just show you here some of the ideas that I've come up with using this principle this week. So using the topic of Father's Day, let me just share my screen here. So some of these ideas here, you can see these are ones that I've saved. So I had one yesterday, the Da Vinci Mode instead of the Da Vinci Code. Thought that was a pretty good concept that we could use for a design. Lawn of the Dead for dads, or Dawn of the Dad. Dad Religion was another one. Grill 'em all for dads on the barbecue. I thought Getting Loser, We're Going Mowing. That's a pretty good one. Deck yourself before you wreck yourself for dad sat out on the deck. And a few of these ideas led me to a few different places. So like, for example, here, this is the search I've just done inside Ideally. You can see dad, lawn, and mower. So we've got here Dawn of the Dad. You can see I've already favorited that one. Mower That Meets the Eye is pretty good, actually. Night of the Living Dad. And then it's bringing back some, like Live, Laugh, Lawn. I think that's pretty good. Dad to the Bone. Live, Lawn, and Prosper. So you can see here, I can just scroll through. This is just helping me come up with those ideas that I've already saved. And so some of these have led me to different places. So for example, I saw that Dawn of the Dad was pretty funny. And then also Lawn of the Dead. So I thought, well, we could put these two together, right? We could come up with instead Lawn of the Dad and have both of those things working together. So I've just done a quick kind of mock-up of what that might look like here on the iPad. So thinking we could do like a lawnmower at the top. Obviously, this is just a sketch to just kind of start it out. But you can see, obviously, I'm riffing off the classic Dawn of the Dead poster, but I'm not, I'm not infringing any trademarks. I've got an original idea that works, and it's got that juxtaposition. It's also got that rhyming element because we've actually switched out two words that rhyme. We've got lawn instead of dawn. We've got dad instead of dead, and so that's a funny concept because it ticks a few of those different boxes. Lawn of the Dead, and actually, don't know whether you could see here, but that actually led me to another concept here. Dawn of the Dead bod. I thought that could be a funny idea. Again, using the same kind of visual reference. Not sure exactly. I was trying to do like a big belly here at the top. Not sure that quite works in this current sketch. Might need a bit of work. But again, this is how you can take one idea that's playing on a particular joke, a particular rhyme, and of course this has alliteration as well. Dawn of the Dad. That's working on those different levels. I've got a couple of others I'll share with you quickly. So we had that one, Dad Religion, which I thought was kind of funny. Again, that's got a kind of visual reference we can use. I thought we could make it like Dad's Religion again. We could make it into like a lawnmower or something like that. That could be pretty funny. And then there was Live Laugh Lawnmower, which I thought was pretty good. We could again, that's needs a bit of work, but something like a simple, text-based design that looks like Live Laugh Love, but we've got Live Laugh Lawnmower instead, something like that. There was another idea that I had, which I'm not sure is here in this, must be in my other account, but I'll share it with you anyway. Over here. So yeah, one of them was from my cold dad hands, which I thought was kind of funny, and we could connect that with drinking beer, like a cold beer, and do from my cold dad hands something like this, really simple. So a couple of ideas there that we've come up with, and plenty more besides that we could do, but that's just to show you a couple of examples. Get in loser, we're going mowing, keep calm and daddy on. The Da Vinci mode, you may have seen that design that I put together yesterday for that one. So a few different ways of coming up with ideas, and all around that principle of juxtaposition and using rhyming and using alliteration. And really what this ideally allows me to do is, I'm scrolling through lots of ideas, and this is just a really easy way to see when there is some juxtaposition or something like that that really clicks. It's kind of hard to create juxtaposition from scratch, but if you can look through a load of possible matches, like here we got Day of the Dad, the mower the merrier, wanted dead or alive, and so on and so forth. So if you can see things like that, you can visualize Grateful Dad. You can see what works, you can see what doesn't, and you can actually tap into that juxtaposition, not to mention the alliteration and the rhyming that's also going on there. So that's how I'm able to quickly come up with a lot of original ideas for any topic, for any niche. Most of that is using rhyme, the principle of rhyme, but we're also looking at where we can find juxtaposition on top of that as well. So so there's really there's no secret to good ideas. I've given you a few of the core principles there that can really help. I would say that the secret is not to waste time on bad ideas. You don't want to be wasting time on ideas that don't present a funny concept, that don't have any juxtaposition, that don't make use of alliteration, or that don't make use of rhyme. And of course, you can improve this yourself. You can have an idea, and then you can ask, well, that's good, but can I improve it with alliteration? Can I improve it with a rhyme? Can I somehow crank up the juxtaposition and pull on this in order to make it more engaging and a more cohesive and engaging design that's likely to sell with people? Because, like we've seen, those are the principles that tend to work. And for a lot of designers, what I see is they're creating work and they're kind of fingers crossed and hoping people will respond to it, instead of working the other way around and starting from a place of, let me use what works. Let me tap into what's proven to work. Let me look for alliteration. Let me look for rhymes. Let me look for juxtaposition, and let me start there rather than the other way around. And I think that's really the secret, if you like. The secret is not to waste time on bad ideas. It's to focus on those proven concepts and really work those into your workflow so that you're just not wasting time. And so, if that's something that you'd like to do, I have put together a course that teaches all my methods. It's called the Ideas Workshop, and this breaks down various different methods in order to come up with original ideas. So, like there's different recipes, there's different methods to come up with those different kinds of concepts. And each of those methods, I teach it inside the Ideas Workshop. It's taught with a video like this, where I teach the method and I then show you a step by step how to come up with those ideas yourself. Every method comes with worksheets and an outline to help you figure it out and to really internalize it, so that you're not just you're not just hearing something and it's just going in one ear and out the other, but you're actually able to do it, to put it into practice, so that whenever you're generating ideas, you can do that on demand by yourself whenever you need to. So you don't need me. You can actually do it, whenever you need to come up with ideas. And this is a list of the methods that I teach inside the Ideas Workshop. There's 13 methods right now that we teach that have a dedicated, class, how-to video, worksheet, and everything. So that, and I teach you, which of these methods works for which type of idea. So if you're looking for parodies, then we've got that. If you're looking for just funny phrases that you can do your own illustrations for, we've got that. If you're looking for rhyming puns, we've got that. If you're looking for just visual gags, so you don't want to do text, you just want to do visual stuff, we've got that. So we teach all these different methods inside the Ideas Workshop. And as you've just seen, if you're a designer, if you use Photoshop or Procreate or anything like that, or you use a font manager, maybe you have tools like that to improve your designing, to speed things up. We just saw yesterday Adobe using AI in Photoshop for the first time. All these things to help you speed up your creativity, to help you speed up your process. So what's interesting to me is that designers will obviously invest loads on that side of helping them. They'll buy loads of brushes, they'll buy incredible software to create better designs. But why don't we think about speeding up and improving your ideas? Why not invest in the idea side, which is going to have such an incredible impact on your sales going forward? And like you've seen, I have this tool which does that. I have a tool which helps you come up with original ideas. It's called Ideally. I've already shown you just a little bit of what it can do. But this is basically a tool that can instantly come up with funny phrases, one-liners, catchy quotes, puns, taglines, jokes, and growing every day. And this is just some of the numbers of what we have inside the Ideas Workshop. We have hundreds of iconic reference images that helps coming up with certain types of ideas very easy, makes it very easy. We have a lot of low-hanging terms, what I call low-hanging terms. So I talked about, alliteration and something gang type of things. I have 300 such terms that make that a snap. We have over 1,000 plugin phrases, which are like fill in the blank phrases, which are really the powerhouse of Ideally, which make incredibly funny ideas really easy to come up with. So basically, it's packed full of a lot of valuable content and reference points and frameworks to help you come up with better and stronger ideas. So that's Ideally, and that's included. Just this morning, I checked in Ideally to see how many ideas were saved. So that's ideas saved by users. So designers like you who are already using Ideally, who are already members of the Ideas Workshop. And in total, we've saved collectively over 7,000 individual ideas. That's if you see here, going down and clicking the heart on any idea here, like Night of the Living Dad. That's just added one more. So now it should be 7,076. So artists and designers just like you have been saving ideas, and collectively we've saved over 7,000 ideas together, which is crazy. And I'm sure that maybe 1,000 of those might be mine, but um, we've saved a lot of ideas. We've helped artists and designers save a lot of ideas so far. So yeah, that's just good news. But also inside the Ideas Workshop, we do regular live sessions. So just like we are doing right now, we hold bi-weekly live calls so you can ask questions, get help from me. We review designs, we look over what people are working on, and I teach new concepts, new methods, new things that I'm learning as I'm learning them. So I share what I'm working on, I share new things, and that happens every other week minimum inside the Ideas Workshop. We've actually been doing weekly calls for the recent few months, but I commit to doing at least every other week to doing a live call for Ideas Workshop members. We also have an Ideas Workshop private community, which is where you can get help. This is a standalone community. It's not a Facebook group. It's completely private. And inside there is where you can share and get help with whatever you're working on. You can ask questions. You can get feedback, and it's a safe place to do all of that in a friendly community. So the Ideas Workshop, like I say, we've saved. We've generated over 7,000 ideas. We've had hundreds of satisfied members. This is just the poll that we conducted for Ideas Workshop members. Average 9.3. Very happy with their purchase. And if you are interested, I just want to quickly run down everything that's included in the package, which is available right now. So there's the Ideas Workshop course. That is the course where I teach all of my methods from several years of generating hundreds or thousands of ideas over that time. All my proven frameworks and everything, I teach you the whole thing over, I think it's something like 7 hours of content to really learn the skills. So the Ideas Workshop course, that's $549. But also included, you get unlimited access to a pro Ideally account, which means you get access to all these tools which you see down the side. You're not limited. You can save unlimited ideas. You can create unlimited projects, and you will never be charged anything additional to that. So you get an unlimited Ideally account. That's worth $648. If you subscribe to Ideally monthly, then you would pay $648 annually just to access that. But we also have a couple of bonus classes as well. We have something called the Total Trends Toolkit, which walks you through how I attack trends and how I hop on trends and make sales quickly with those. And we also have a new class, which I've not even made publicly available yet, but it is inside the Ideas Workshop. That's called Designing T-Shirts the Right Way. And again, that's another $199 value class. These are both inside the Ideas Workshop. This is the Ideas Workshop membership. You can see here down the side, we've got the Total Trends Toolkit. That's a 5-session class. And then Designing T-Shirts the Right Way, where I focus on the design side, that's a 7-session class. So over 7 hours in that class. So that's a $199 value class that I'll be selling separately shortly, but that's included inside the Ideas Workshop. We do the bi-weekly live calls, which I've already talked about, and we have the private community and direct help. I don't know what price you put on those because it's invaluable to get that kind of help. Plus, of course, you get all future updates and features that we're adding all the time. So we're constantly updating Ideally with new phrases and jokes and puns and frameworks, and adding new tools as well. So all of that total value is well over $1,595. But if you want to get in before the doors close, you can do so right now for just 3 monthly payments of $190. The doors are closing Saturday midnight. That's this coming Saturday. So if you do want to take advantage of this, I suggest you do so quickly, because I'm pretty sure we won't offer this price again. The value included is increasing all the time. We haven't actually raised the price on the Ideas Workshop for almost a year, I think. So we're well overdue a price rise. So if you are interested and you think this might be for you and it's something that clicks with you, then head over to michaelessek.com/workshop. You'll find the link in the description as well. And that is where you can find out everything you need to know about the Ideas Workshop, how you can join, how you can sign up. You can use the split pay option to get the price that you're seeing on the screen, but that will be going away and the doors will be closing this Saturday. So check that out if you haven't already. michaelessek.com/workshop. I'll just put the link in the comments if you want to find it there. And yeah, and I'll be happy to take your questions on that. And if you're watching a replay, you can actually email me, michael@michaelessek.com, if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer those. So I see we do have some questions that have come in, so I will take those now. Let me go right back to who had the first question. And if you've got any questions, we've got about 5 or 10 minutes here. If you want to ask me anything, you can go ahead and do so now. You can ask me about the Ideas Workshop, or you can ask me about anything else that you need help with. I think Amin was first. Amin, can I ask a question related to Zazzle? You can, Amin, but I don't sell on Zazzle. I think I did play around with it once in the early days, but never had much success on there, so can't really speak to it. My main sites are Merch by Amazon, Redbubble, TeePublic, and Etsy. So I'm most helpful on those platforms, but yeah, can't really talk to Zazzle. Anna says, how long do you think it takes for a good design to start selling? If you have an idea, create a design and upload it to POD sites. Usually, how long would it take to produce sales? And that's a great question, Anna. So the way I think about this, and I think I mentioned this towards the start of the presentation, is my business model is idea, design, distribute, rinse and repeat. Idea, design, distribute, rinse and repeat. Idea, design, distribute, rinse and repeat over and over and over again. So my business is built on lots of individual ideas, but there's no real, single idea that carries the business. Of course, you have bestsellers versus ideas that don't do so well, but it's really hard to know ahead of time which ideas are going to click and which are not. So, there's so many variables, and there are variables that are outside of your control and never will be under your control. So unless, for example, you have a couple of million Instagram followers who are very engaged and who you consistently sell things to, and you know that they're going to buy whatever you put out there, that's a very different scenario from organic print on demand or Etsy or something like that. So the way I think the best way to think about it is not in terms of individual designs, but in terms of your portfolio of designs. So, for example, it's better to think about kind of averages over and scale. So, not how good is one, how how soon can one design sell, but for example, if you produce 20 designs, how long is it going to take to sell a design of those 20? And I would sell that if you produce 20 unique ideas and designs and you've uploaded them and it's been a month and you've not sold anything, then something's wrong somewhere, because you should have been able to make a sale in that time if you've produced something that's original, that is meeting someone's need, and that you've done your best to distribute it well and give it good keywords and so on. So I talk a lot about this in the Total Trends Toolkit class, which is included in the Ideas Workshop. But if you're able to line things up there, then of course, even if you line things up to the best of your ability, it doesn't mean it's going to sell. But if you do that over enough time, and you do that at scale, then you'll begin to see that there's an average there that you can kind of expect. And it's not going to be every design that sells, but it's going to be, say 1 in 10 that does really well, and maybe 4 in 10 actually sell, something like that. I don't know. It's very difficult to give an average, as you can see. But yeah, I would say if you produced 20 designs, 30 designs, something like that, and you've uploaded them, and you uploaded them all on one day, and then you waited a month and nothing sold, something's wrong. I would expect to see sales within that time. I think it took me about a month to get my first sale on Redbubble, and of course that it takes a while for your designs to get indexed in Google and to get indexed in these platforms, and that's why I would give up to a month. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had designs that have gone live on Merch by Amazon and sold within a matter of a couple of hours, so that can happen, but that's on a very hot trend or something like that I jumped on very quickly. So yeah, I would say for more kind of evergreen topics or whatever, you want to be giving yourself maybe a month or something to kind of prove the concept. And if that doesn't work, then something's gone wrong somewhere in the process. Dawn says, do you suggest the course while you are working full-time or waiting until you can dedicate all your time? This is my retirement gig. Okay, Dawn. I mean, the Ideas Workshop, the course is a self-serve course. It's not, it's not something that I teach live. It's all pre-recorded. You can dip in and out whenever you want to. You have, full unlimited access to it from day one. You can, you don't have to follow a particular pattern because the course is basically lots of different methods, and you can move around and choose which method you want to learn first, for example. So it is kind of a self-serve platform. And it's not, most of these videos for these methods, they're about 5 minutes long or something. The how-to videos are maybe 10 minutes. So this is not a course where you're going to be sitting doing, you have to sit down for a couple of hours every night to do it. You can dip in and out. You can make it work around you. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's not something that requires full-time focus, but obviously the more time you can give to it, the quicker you're likely to get the most benefits out of it. Brick Brower said, "Wouldn't the Dawn of the Dad violate copyright laws?" No, because there is no. There is a potential if someone was especially protective of the Dawn of the Dad logo that they'd come after you, but that is highly unlikely for most use cases. So yeah, copyright law is a very tricky one, and there are certain protections against it. It's only ever really put to the test when it's in court. Obviously, you don't want to get there, but for ideas like this, where they're clearly transformative, and you're not selling a Dawn of the Dead T-shirt, and that's clear, then yeah, you should be safe. I've got hundreds of designs of that nature. I have problems with very, very few of them. Prismajuice says certain brands are extremely aggressive to designs that are visually similar. Some of them even manually browse and report parodies. Yes, they do, but there's not many of those brands. I think you're talking about Disney and Jack Daniels, a few other people like that. So yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Ron says, "Is this a yearly fee?" Yes, the Ideas Workshop is a yearly subscription. So you have access for 12 months, and then obviously you can choose to renew or not at the end. So if you choose not to renew, if you cancel your subscription, then you simply lose access after a year. So you have unlimited access for that full year to the software, to all the tools, to the courses, and to live calls. And then, of course, you can choose to renew or not at the end of your subscription when your time's up. You can sign up and then cancel, and then you will retain access for 12 months. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to play it. But yes, it is a subscription because that allows me to continue investing in the software, in the tools, in doing new methods and researching new things and discovering new things, so that I continue, increasing the value all the time. Nomadic says, "Do we get emailed the username to log in to the Ideas Workshop after we purchase? And do you need certain system requirements to access the software?" I was going to say no and no. No, you don't need any certain system requirements. Ideally, and all the software runs in a browser. It's a web app, so that's really easy to use. And do you get emailed the username? Yes. As soon as you purchase, you will be emailed your username and password to log into the membership here. You'll also get a separate invite to join the community, the Ideas Workshop community, which is hosted separately. And then you'll get your ideally username and password as well, so you can log in and access the software on top of that. So I hope that explains a few of those things for you. This is the community, which has a separate login here as well. So yeah, that's how it all works. And that was Nomadic Blue. Okay, I think we were going to have to wrap it up there because we're just coming up to the hour mark. I need to get back to get back to my house because my daughter has her dance class tonight. I need to race home to do that. Last minute question from Kurt. "Hello, Michael. What about using pre-made editable vector files if you're not an expert graphic designer?" Kurt, yes, of course, you can do that. And with AI image generating art, it's becoming even easier to generate decent quality illustrations and graphics, even if you're not an illustrator yourself. So yes, you can do that. Personally, I think I don't like using pre-made stuff because that's something that anyone can then take. You don't really control the copyright of the designs that you're creating, so that's a risk. But yeah, obviously, if you can take stuff and modify it, that's the ideal solution. Or if you can come up with your own original stuff, or hire a designer, or perhaps make use of some of the new AI tools in a responsible way. There's certainly other options out there, Kurt. So hope that helps. Okay, I think we will leave it there for today. Thank you for joining me live. I hope you got something out of this presentation and this training. If you are interested, again, the Ideas Workshop at michaelessek.com/workshop. All the details are there. You can email me, michael@michaelessek.com, if you've got any questions that I haven't been able to answer here on the live. And I'll be happy to reply to your emails and get back to you as quickly as I can. But michaelessek.com/workshop is where you can find out more. And thank you for joining me today. And if you've I can see Prisma Juice saying thank you. If you would give a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would be great as well. But I think we'll leave it there, and I will see you on the next live stream, whenever that is, also in your inboxes. And yeah, thanks for joining me today. michaelessek.com/workshop for the Ideas Workshop, and I'll see you soon. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good one. See you. Bye-bye.